Black magic. You got to know, got to show, it's time to roll. So just tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you want, so just tell me what you want to hear. All right, welcome back to Rat GTV podcast in Zoom edition. And I am so excited today to have with us Allison Volk. Allison, thank you so much for coming with us and talking about your new movie, Deany Bean is Dead. Please tell us more about it. What's going on?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that this worked out. So Deany Bean is Dead is a dark comedy with romance about a woman who tries to win back her ex-boyfriend at his engagement party without revealing that her freshly strangled boss is in the trunk of her car outside.
Which is the movie in a nutshell.
Yep.
And this movie is honestly as crazy as it sounds. But I say that with all the love and affirmation that I can, because this is quirky. I would say a kooky, but they say love is blind. I feel that the jaded lover here has eagle eyes in this case.
Yes, she does. Love is definitely blind. I mean, I think most of us have experienced that at some point.
So, well, tell us a little bit about that. Tell us how much of Deany is in you and how much of you is in Deany.
Well, I always have to start by saying I have never physically harmed anybody. I have never stalked anybody, and I don't have any plans to do that. So let's just get that out on the table. But Deany is a heartbroken character who feels very deeply, and she was recently rejected by her fiance who broke it off. And that is something that I have definitely felt deeply, that rejection. I've never had a fiance break off the relationship, but I've definitely had boyfriends like break up with me before I was ready, and sometimes I never even really know why. So I definitely relate to Deany in that respect of needing some sort of closure, like why, what happened?
Right. And you do see that, and you go on that emotional ride with Deany from the beginning to the end of this movie. If you don't mind, let's take a quick look at the trailer right now so the folks at home can have a look at it.
You are not gonna go stalk him again, are you, Deany? Oh, come on. You just gotta go get drunk and cry it out.
She has only one true motivation: win him back.
This is a support group for people with real problems. You're just some sad, lonely person in your early 30s.
Late 20s. I just found out that my ex-fiancé is engaged to someone else.
Okay, let's sit with that.
Oh, you don't mind if I eat, do you? Yeah, well, my assistant is pretty much a complete idiot. You're fired!
Imagine how you would feel to squeeze the last breath out of their hollow body.
Hello? Hello? Are you a friend of Tom?
I'm Deanna.
Any friend of Tom's is a friend of mine. Cheers.
Deany.
Here I am. So I thought I would come by and find out if you're really engaged.
You were engaged to her?
How come she didn't know we were engaged?
Why did you invite your ex-girlfriend?
I didn't invite my ex-girlfriend. She just showed up. Deany Bean, I missed you. You need to come back to real therapy.
I don't need therapy. I'm in a meditation drama group.
I think it's best not to have secrets worth keeping.
He's your brother.
He's a liar, Deany. I don't want you wasting your life with him.
Who should I waste my life with?
Hello?
Miss Williams? Maxine?
Is that me?
You don't know who I am. This is Maxine Williams, my assistant.
It looks like a nut.
They're seeds.
Don't eat that, Maxine, remember.
Give me some of that.
Choking on the hummus!
Oh my God.
Women are complicated creatures, Tom.
Deany Bean is dead.
Absolutely awesome. And that trailer, there's so much in it, and it still doesn't tell the entire story of the movie. It's so good. You've got Wendy Wilkins in this movie as well. What a great veteran actress out there as well. What was it like working with Wendy?
Oh, she's amazing. When you see the movie, you'll see that she starts off as this like really hardcore, like intense businesswoman, really nasty, and then she completely flips and she becomes this like airhead ding dong who doesn't remember who she is. And it takes somebody really, really talented to be able to pull that off in the way she does. Her comedic timing is awesome. And it was just so much fun to work with her. She shows up ready to go every day and really inspiring.
I think one of my favorite things about this movie is it's not that just Deany is quirky and kind of out there. The entire cast is out there, from the therapist to your best friend, and Paulina's absolutely a blast in this movie as well. Talk to me a little bit as the writer. Was that something you were conscious of trying to make this, like, the whole world is kind of kooky?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about real life, all of us are a little bit kooky. Like, if you really get down to it, I mean, we all have like weird stuff that we do in like little ways that we're kind of off. So I just wanted it to feel fleshed out. I wanted it to feel real. I wanted every character to have their own weird thing that makes them feel more like a real person.
Right. Now, and we talked about the cast and stuff. You went with an interesting direction here, and I really like it. And I thought it was just something that was in the trailer, and then I was pleasantly surprised to find out it was throughout the entire movie, was the narrator aspect. Was that something that was always in the makings, or?
Yeah. So when I wrote the script, I think I was watching a lot of Hitchcock at the time, and I was listening to Serial. I don't know if you listened to that podcast about the murder. No. So I had these like murder things going through my head, and I really just loved the idea that Deany is listening to this like murder podcast, and every week they talk about a different murder and like, how do you deal with it? And so the voiceover, it starts off that she's listening to this podcast, and then it slowly graduates until like this is just the voice she hears in her head all the time. And Jay Wallace is the actor who did the voiceover there. He's got the best like Kansas City drawl. It's so fun to listen to.
And like I said, what a treat that was, and a throwback to, like you said, like yesteryear. And I'm gonna have to check out the Serials podcast because it sounds kind of great. Now, making this movie, you talk about what it's like to be rejected, and we've all been there. What has been kind of like the worst thing that you're willing to say out here, breakup wise, that happened to you? Is there any that kind of stands out to you that's kind of, that was a weird way to do it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the hardest breakup for me was when I had a boyfriend who moved away, but we decided we were going to do long distance. And then he told me one day over the phone that it wasn't working, but I never really knew why. And it was very cryptic the way I was broken up with. And it just drove me crazy. So when I was writing Deany, I just imagined that was her situation. Like, she didn't really know why, which that unanswered question, it can drive you nuts. I mean,
right.
Like, what is the reason? It takes a lot of maturity, I think, to get over that. And some people are probably a lot better at it than I am, but.
So, well, tell folks, where can people find Deany Bean is Dead?
So you can find us on Tubi TV. We're now on iTunes as well. We're on Instagram at Deany Bean is Dead, and Facebook. And we also have a website, deanybeanisdead.com.
Awesome. So what will people find on deanybeanisdead.com?
Oh, well, you'll find some poll quotes from reviews. You'll see all of our festival laurels and our trailer, a little description of the filmmakers, a synopsis of the film, and then some still shots from the actual movie.
So what has this entire process been like for you, especially going through, this whole pandemic and everything else? It's not your typical rollout.
Right. The process has been exhilarating, really, really fun. It's been 3 years in the making. I mean, I wrote the script in 2016, so I guess it's 4 years in the making. And going through the festival circuit was just a total blast. And, we did get delayed our distribution was delayed because of the pandemic, but in my view, I like to look for the silver lining. And I think everything has turned out really great because this is the time when people need something a little lighthearted. And I'm glad that we have something to offer in that respect.
And that you definitely have here. It definitely is a movie that is going to bring a lot of smiles to people's faces when they watch this. Now, let's talk a little bit about you, Allison. How did you get into this business? Can you tell us your origin story?
Sure. I didn't start acting till I was in high school, and then it was the school play, which I joined because I had a crush on a guy who was doing it, and then I discovered, oh, I really like this. And then when I went to college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I ended up being a music major for vocal performance, and that wasn't quite the right fit for me, but I ended up studying playwriting and acting at the National Theater Institute in Connecticut. And after that, I was like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And I moved to LA, started pursuing auditions, but I think a lot of actors, especially women, have this experience where you're going out for stuff and it's just it's not juicy. It's not the type of creative work that you really want to do as an artist. So I started writing my own stuff, and then I started producing my own stuff, and here we are. And it's just a lot more satisfying as an artist.
And now that and you mentioned that, and you talk about yourself producing and writing, and we're seeing the Patty Jenkins in the world, and we're seeing a lot more prominent female producers, directors, writers, and prominence in Hollywood. Have you noticed it there? Like, because I'm way in Canada. So
oh, hello from the United States.
I hope. But we don't get to, we look from the outsider's view. What is it like for you as an insider? Is it changing? Is it changing fast enough?
I think there are important steps being made. The Me Too movement was hugely important. Organizations like Women in Film are doing a lot to push forward parity, although I would say we have a ways to go. In my experience, there's still this innate prejudice against women when it comes to getting your films financed, giving you roles of authority like a director position or a lead producer position. And it's definitely heartening to see more women taking those roles. But I do think it's something that we all need to continue to be aware of and just be really conscious when we're in a position to make hiring decisions.
And you're definitely doing your part right now. And it's true, and it's not just platitudes, because you've done it. You've got a movie here. You've got movies, in your IMDb folder. So you are making a difference. Where do you want to see this business 20 years from now?
I would love to see 50-50 in terms of gender. I'd love to see women in more leadership roles. I would love to see movies getting attention. I would love to see compassionate love stories getting more attention. And the thing is that films that are geared toward women do really well at the box office, but for some reason that's still not really a focus in the industry. So I would love to see people kind of like wake up and realize that women are a huge audience that definitely deserve to be recognized, and they need content too. So, that's like a sliver of what I'd like to see in 20 years. It's so hard to say where we'll be with all these new media platforms.
Right. And that's another good thing too here. And I'll let you go after this one. With all these new media platforms out there, giving new avenues for so many up and coming writers and directors. Obviously, this is a benefit to a lot of indie directors and stuff. Do you see any downfall though for there being too many, or should we just let everybody have their creative juices run wild? Well,
first of all, yes, we should let everyone have their creative juice. There's definitely enough room for everybody. That's what I believe. At the same time, it's competitive. I mean, you have to create something that people want to watch. So And that comes from being truly honest and authentic about what's inside you. So, okay, we don't have to go down that path, but the thing is that we still need more content. It's amazing that people are actually running out of things to watch on Netflix, which is
Right.
like, what? You wouldn't have thought, but every story deserves to be told.
True. And you've told a beautiful story with Deany Bean is dead, and you told a great story here today. Allison Volk, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and rescheduling again to come back and see us. This was so great of you. And folks, go check this movie out. It's on iTunes. It's on Tubi right now, and it may be seen in other places as well. DeanyBeanIsDead.com as well, folks. That's it for another edition of Rad GTV. I'm your host, Ryan, along with Allison Volk. And folks, I hope you had a great time. Bye now.
Thanks, Ryan.
You got to know, got to show, it's time to roll. So just tell me what you want to hear.